Hi guys, it's Laura from How to Get Your Shit Together, and today I'm going to be talking about brain dumping, which is not as horrific or as illegal as it may sound. I'm going to teach you what it is, how to do it, what you should do once you've done it, and then I'm going to share some tips that will help you to do your own brain dump. So, what is it? What is a brain dump? What is brain dumping? It is essentially when you empty everything out of your brain. All of your thoughts, your ideas, your tasks, any questions, memories, fears, worries, anything that is floating around your head, you get it out. So the idea is to get everything out of your head so that you can focus on what's important. So when you're doing your brain dump, you are putting down everything from the very small things like making a phone call to the very big things like maybe renovating your house. It can be very specific things like sewing a button back onto a shirt, or it can be quite a broad or vague thing like maybe you want to get healthy or get fit. So anything that is in your head, you get it out and get it onto paper or whatever is your preferred method, which brings me on to the second thing, which is how to do it. So you write it on paper or you type it into a word processor. I think those two are probably the best ways to do it because it's very important that you physically see your list, because later on you will come to edit it and go back through it. It's also important when you're doing it that you don't edit your thoughts. Whatever pops into your head, you write it down. You don't think, oh, that's not really important, or I don't need to write that down, I'll remember it. We've all been there, right? Anything that pops into your head, you write it down. Now is not the time for organizing it or prioritizing it or deciding what's important and what's not. Everything goes down on the page, whether that be a physical page or a digital page. So what's next? After you have everything down, you want to go back through it. This is the time when you can edit or prioritize or do whatever you want with it. But you are essentially working through everything you have written down. So if it's a question, you can go research the answer or ask somebody. If it's something that's been mulling around your brain and you're not sure what the answer is, go find out. If it's a task, you can put it on your to-do list. If it's very small, it's something maybe that you could do that day. If it's something a little bit bigger, you could put it on your kind of future to-do list, or maybe break it down into smaller tasks, one of which you could maybe get done today. But the idea is that once you have brain dumped everything, that you actually then do something with it. A lot of the things you will have down will be tasks. That's certainly something that I've noticed. A lot of my kind of unfinished thoughts rattling around up here are things that I want to do. So I write all those down, I pop them on a to-do list. But there will be a lot of tasks, so those you can transfer onto a to-do list. There will be a lot of maybe kind of memories or just kind of life events, things you're thinking about. Those you could maybe transfer into a journal or a diary. But basically, once you have it all down, that's when you start to work on it, whether it be transferring it somewhere else, whether it be breaking it down into smaller steps, organizing it, prioritizing it. Whatever that means to you, but you want to put some form of sense on it. So maybe you separate out the tasks from the kind of general memories and from the questions and things like that. But this is what I use for my brain dump. This is just a notebook that I bought on eBay. Very inexpensive. You don't even have to buy a notebook. I'm sure you've got pen and paper lying around. So just to give you a brief look inside, I literally just write tasks. As I said, most of mine are tasks, so I just write them down with a little checkbox next to them, and then I work through them. So when I come to do kind of my weekly planning, things that I'm going to try and get done that week, I come and look at my brain dump notebook and see what tasks are still left on it, and I try to slot those in throughout my week. So I guess it's very easy maybe to panic at this stage, because once you've got everything down on paper, you will probably initially be shocked by the amount of stuff, but don't worry. Just because it's down on paper doesn't mean that it's suddenly overwhelming. There's not going to be more down on paper that wasn't already rattling around your head. So it's best to get it down where you can see it, where you can focus on it, where you can actually start to take active steps towards getting that stuff done. Otherwise, it's just going to endlessly rattle around your brain. It's going to, as I said, be using up resources that could best be used elsewhere. So when you see it all down on paper, don't panic at the amount of stuff there is. That stuff was already in your head. Putting it down on paper really means nothing other than you are taking one step closer to getting that stuff done and getting it out of your head and out of your life forever. In terms of tips, the first is to pick a chunk of time that you know you'll be uninterrupted. It's very difficult to do a brain dump if you don't have a reasonably significant amount of time. The brain dump is about getting everything out of your head, and to do that you need the time to do it. As I said, there will be a lot of stuff up there. You will have a lot of thoughts, a lot of questions, a lot of tasks. So give yourself as much time as you can. I would say probably an hour anyway, depending on how hectic or chaotic your life is. But for me, I took an hour out of my day and I did it. So try and find a chunk of time where you won't be interrupted. The second thing is, don't worry about making it pretty or prioritizing things or sticking in stickers or highlighting things. The most important thing at this stage is to just get everything down. So as long as it is legible to you, that is the most important thing. Afterwards, once you've gotten everything out of your head, by all means, go back over it and color code or highlight or whatever you want. But initially, just get it all down in a way that makes sense to you. The third thing is, walk around your environment. So whether that be your home or your office or wherever you are, because there will be a lot of things, for example, around your home as you're walking around that you will notice need doing. That's also important if you kind of reach a point where you think, I don't actually have anything really to put on my brain dump list. If you're kind of drawing a blank, or you've got a bit of writer's block, or you're just kind of struggling to think of things, a quick walk around should get the blood flowing again, and you will definitely see things that you would like to incorporate into your list. So the next tip then is, don't go too in-depth with it initially. So if, for example, one of your things is to clean the bathroom, you don't then need to kind of break that down and itemize it. You don't need to, after that, write, scrub the toilet or clean the sink. Those things will be kind of implied in the whole clean the bathroom thing. So you would only put it in if, for example, there was something specific that you wanted to do in the bathroom. So maybe you want to dust the high shelves or scrub the baseboards or something like that. But if you have cleaned the bathroom, that should be enough to remind you of exactly what you want to do there. So as I said, don't go too in-depth with it. You just want to get everything down on paper as quickly as possible. So my final tip then is, and I've already kind of alluded to this, but the important thing is to just write. Don't interrupt yourself by going off and doing something. If it's something that you've already been putting off for a while, an extra few minutes is not going to make a big difference. Again, the problem is that you will interrupt your train of thought, and it will be much more difficult to get back into your brain dump list. So just write for now, and know that getting it down is enough for now, and that you can always come back to it as soon as you're done. But for now, it's all about the writing. getting everything out of your head onto paper so that you can then process everything, free up some space in your brain, and go and enjoy things that otherwise would be interrupted or distracted by all those extra thoughts in your head. I hope this was helpful. I know that brain dumping has been incredibly helpful for me, so I'm hoping it will be helpful for you too. If you already do it, let me know. I'd love to hear how you do it, because I know different people have kind of a different take on it. So I'd love to know if there's something that you do differently. If you don't do it and you are going to start doing it, please let me know how you get on with it. I would be excited to hear how other people are finding it, and maybe hear other people's tips and tricks for what works and what doesn't work for them. So thank you very much for watching. I hope that you will subscribe to the channel and also give the video a thumbs up, and I will be back next week with another video for you with more tips and tricks for how you can get your shit together. Thank you guys. Bye.